Hello, Al, 6D Diesels. Right, this week I've decided to do something exciting that I've been meaning to do for ages, in-house. Now, anyone who watches our videos will have seen in the background, and I've been asked a million times about it, this is one of a man's proud possessions, this is. So this is a 1988 Peugeot 305 van, 1.7 diesels, 4-speed. Do you remember 4-speeds? They were like a 80s, 80s thing, 70s, 80s thing. I've had it 5 years? Can't really remember. Badgered a mate of mine to death who'd had it for donkey's years to get it out of him because it was growing in a field, looking really sad. And then we sort of dragged it on a recovery truck, dragged it in here. It was the other way round for ages, and we did have to push it out about 2 months ago to get Geronimo up on the ramp up here, the upcoming Beetle rebuild. And then we turned it round out there, 3 of us, and pushed it back in here. Rolls, fine. But what it doesn't do is go. Mainly because, as far as I know, there appears to be a load of fuel supply lines missing. So it's definitely got a fuel tank, I know that, because we had started on some rust stuff, as you can see by the big hole in the roof that caused all the problems in the first place. So what I thought I'd do, as I was staying local and actually doing something of my own, was get my Peugeot 305 van started. I mean, it's been a while, because if you DVLA tax check it, it says it's on. Don't remember doing that. And it's got no MOT history, which means the MOT history, I think, started in like 08, 09. So it hasn't had an MOT since then. So I reckon it's been off the road a good 15 years. Probably a little bit more. But anyway, here goes. 1988, diesels, Peugeot van. Let's see what happens. Right, so here we are, 1.7 non-turbo diesel, 4-speed Peugeot diesel engine. Anyone who doesn't believe me that this has been sat since God was a boy, I'll just wipe the 1.5 dust off that wing, because it's been sat in here forever. So, as you will see, what we have is a slight lack of any description of fuel supply to the fuel pump. So, that one's sort of hanging off and has some description of juice in it. So there is like a fuel primer thing here, and as far as I know, that is nosed. So what we're going to need to do, I mean, we have to check the condition of the cam belt, which we can see here. So that's on there, and it hasn't got any cracks in it, so we'll call that good. Oh yeah, that smells horrible. So we've got some sort of top quality black slime that you could describe as oil. Probably wouldn't hurt from a bit of an oil change in a minute. And it has all its fundamentals. It's got a belt on it. Have we got coolant? Oh, we have. Surprising. Yeah, we've got a full tank of coolant as well. Loads of that to use up. So what I'm planning on doing is put some diesel in it. Finding one of them hand squeezy pumps, which I dug out earlier on. Hopefully one of the 2 that we have works. And then I reckon if we just ignore this water-cooled fuel housing here, which is going to be junk, let's be honest, and shouldn't need to rodent check, but it might be a... Got any rodentage? Oh no, that's not rodentage. Oh, that might be rodentage. Right, so I might need to take the air filter off, check for rodent stuff, because there's definitely something that was furry in there a minute ago. And I'm going to need to find it a battery, some fuel, and see if it turns over. I'm pretty sure it does turn, he said. Oh my lord. Yeah, it might turn. See what happens, I suppose. Right, I'm going to go find some stuff, fuel, bits and bobs. Right, so in my eagerness to get going, I did forget one thing about Project Peugeot. I haven't actually got a key, because my friend lost that. So, years ago when we needed to move it here, I did manage to get the ignition barrel out without damaging it, so you could do some steering without the steering lock. But what I hadn't considered is the fact that it's got a locking fuel cap on it. And I haven't got a key for the locking fuel cap. So I'm going to have to ruin me genuine Peugeot with the big line in a minute in the middle of it, fuel cap, to get it off to put some diesel in it, because it definitely hasn't got any diesel in it. I know that. The tank is dry as a bone. So, I mean, these are probably really rare, and I'm probably never going to find another one, am I? I mean, the only thing that may possibly be a bit of an upside is if that it does look like someone may have been here before. Ooh. Oh, slightly buggered it, but that'll be alright. Oh, I didn't break the Peugeot emblem. Oh, I broke the locking device in it. Right, that's perfectly successful. I'll call that a win. Right. So we're going to start by pouring at least a gallon of diesel in it and seeing if that's got to be somewhere to start, isn't it? Fuelage. Oh, it's even of the road-going variety as well. It's not the agricultural spec stuff that we've got for the steam cleaner, honestly. If I poured my can on the side, I wouldn't probably have poured half of it all over my hand, but... oh well. Just pour without being an arse. That's better. That's better. We got it. Yep. Right, gallon of the finest jungle juice. Let's see if we can reset my fuel cap so I don't lose it. Oh. Right, perfect. That's the fuel cap in easily removable spec now. Right, fuel lines. Right, so next part of cunning plan is to assess whether the in-tank fuel strainer is full of googe. So what we thought we'd do is shove 300 pounds per square inch back down the fuel line to the tank and see if we get any gurgly noises. That'll tell us, one, whether we've got fuel with the gurgly noises, and two, whether that's free. So I'll plug this in here, which leaks like a good one, apologies, and then, yeah, we try not to go too silly, so we don't pop the fuel tank. Ooh, gurgly noises. Right. So I think we'll call that a success. It went gurgle, 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 splurp. And I have obviously pressurised the fuel tank enough to get some nastiness coming back out of that pump. Pump? Pipe. There is no pump. This pump here, she no good. So what we're going to have to assess next is what is furry in there. We're going to need a 10mm spanner. Now hopefully it's not a load of dead rodents, because after last week's dodge-based disgustingness, I could do without anything having moved into me Peugeot that I'm going to have to fish out. It was definitely furry in there a minute ago. Oh no, the furriness wasn't actually rodentation, it was a completely collapsed furry air filter. Look at that. Ugh. That's pretty grim. That's some, I think that might have, yeah, that's definitely seen better days. Right, I reckon what we're going to need there. Where's Super Sucky Hetty? She's got to be around here somewhere. I haven't seen Hetty for ages. I'm going to go and find Hetty. Right. So what we have here is Hetty. Obviously showing the man to touch with his feminine side. Pneumatic vacuum cleaners. Mind you, this thing has taken some punishment. I'd like to point out I didn't buy it. It was left here by a certain light-fingered thieving member of staff that we sacked a few years ago. It's about the only good thing the only thing we got out of him. He just made off with a load of everything else that wasn't his. Anyway, you know who you are. So, what we're going to do is we're going to fire Hetty up and suck the nastiness out of the air filter box. Hetty even comes with a boost button. Look at this. When you hit this one, boost. To attempt to see if there's any. No, that's clear. Right, I'm going to put my bright pink beaten vacuum cleaner away now before everyone thinks I'm a whoopsie. What we need to attend to now, once we put this back together, just put that back on there first so I don't lose it all. Perfect. So, as you've seen a minute ago, we've obviously blown the fuel line back to the tank, and we know we've got fuel because we've got some bubblage, and we also, because we managed to pressurise the tank, we've got a bit of fuel back. So what we have here is one of them top quality squidgy fuel primers. This is cut off a dead Renault Kangoo, and it comes in really useful because if you're trying to prime a fuel filter, what it's got is two rubbish bits of rubber hose on it and a crappy old airline fitting wedged up. So I'm pretty confident that this wedged down there and then wedged in that pump in that will give us the fuel system of some description. Don't tell me off for not having a fuel filter, she'll be fine. So that one in there. Oh yes, I mean that makes a lovely airtight seal. It's not floppy at all, and in theory if we ookie dookie on this a bit, we should get, haha, diesel, something that looks like diesel. So now what I'm going to do is pour it all over myself. Oh yeah, that might not work terribly well, it's a bit close to that pulley. And we're going to, oh no, that might work. Right, I wedge that on the, wedge bin. Slide that on there, and then basically, I'm not going to push too hard on that because I reckon it'll pop all the pipes off. That, in theory, gives us a fuel supply primed to the injection pump. So what we've got to attend to now is obviously, because the car didn't come with a key, the ignition, which I'll show you now, is this selection of slightly broken wires and plastic dangling out the dashboard. A man could turn with a screwdriver. There aren't really any positions on it. So what we're going to need to do, one is test that it turns over. I'm possibly going to need to do some injector bleeding. And we're going to have to hope that the heat plugs work. Or function or whatever. Because obviously Peugeot diesels, no heat plugs, not open L. And I have absolutely covered everything in diesel just to make things better. So what we're going to do now, find the battery, bring you in there for a closer look at the top quality ignition and find a screwdriver to turn it with. And then we'll see if it wants to go. Right, as we go on wondering, we're going to come round here, obviously. A few obstructions. Now, if you look in here, one, you may see the slight severity of the rust. We're proper flintstone. Man's curing that, not going to worry about that for a minute. What we have here is the ignition system. Now, we managed to remove the ignition barrel that obviously would be it, turning this piece of plastic stuffy that's sort of hanging out of here. Now, that is what we currently have as an ignition key with the screwdriver-y type stuff. So what we're going to do, climb back out of here again. And we're going to go back round here. Is now that we've got our top quality fuel supply hooked up with the fuels, so we're not squidging that because it'll pop off of there. Got a cleaned airbox. We're going to throw a lorry battery in there because that's the only one we've got. And then maybe we'll just loosen some of those injector pipes off, char on it a bit, one, see if it turns over, which we're pretty confident it's going to. Hopefully the cam belt doesn't snap, but the cam belt does look in pretty good condition. There's no cracks on that, and you can still see the lettering on it, which means it isn't older than Christ on a bike. And see if we get any fuel leaping out of here, and then we've got to try and persuade that there, which is the fuel, the heat plug module, to fire the heat plugs using a screwdriver in the dash. Right, so as you would have seen a second ago, we have applied a lorry battery. That fits beautifully once you squash that radiator hose down there. And we have undone those two injector lights. Sorry about the flashing, because two of the lights in the workshop have gone a bit woolly, so we'll try not to focus on that, causing the epileptic fits. Now, in my pocket, here somewhere, I have the new El Nuvo ignition key. So what we're going to do is we're going to creep round here. Why don't I move that gearbox so I can get in it? Be a bright idea. It's got no, that, yeah, no, right. So this is obviously the driving position. So what we're going to do is attempt to somehow, I reckon, let's check it's in neutral. Neutral. Quite difficult to tell. Yeah, that is neutral. Is put the screwdriver in here. Does that work? Oh, it does. Hang on, right. So we've got ignition lightage. Have we got? I haven't got anything else. Oh, we've got heat light. Oh, and we had a bit of a fire there, didn't we? Yeah, right. I think what we're going to need to do. Oh, she's trying. Right, let's go back around the front, do the injector pipes back up. Hang on a minute. Turn the ignition off with the key. Oh, no, that didn't work. Hang on, and again. Oh, is that smoke coming out of there? No, that'll be right. Right, let's put the key down so we don't lose it. Ooh. And set my gearbox back up right again before oil pours out of it all over the place. Ooh. Right, so I'm pretty confident this is going to start. I'm going to get a spanner, check I have done those injection lines up. So I did them undid them earlier. Right, so we've, yeah, that'll help a lot. So I got diesel at the injectors. It was making coffee noises a minute ago. I think my fuel supply might survive. What we're going to do is char on it with the screwdriver, and I reckon it'll crack off. I don't know what's going to sound like, because it hasn't run in about at least 6 years, 7 years. So maybe a little bit more than that. Let's see what happens. It's probably going to sound horrible. Oh, my foot's gone through the floor. Right. So, each start. Each start, we've got each start. Each start light's gone out. Oh, that's not bad. Oh. What is that? Horrible noise. Spanner time. What we might try and do is see if we can actually move it. Like on this ramp, when we lift it up and have a look underneath. Much better like that. Clutch might be a bit stuck. Hang on. Gear lever's a bit seized up. Oh no, we're there. I think that's first. Does the throttle work? Throttle works. Oh, that's going backwards. First. Ooh, what's first? Everything seems to be working. No oil light. Whoop. Oh Lord. Call that a bit of a success. Right, so what I thought I'd do, I'll just give a quick tour of the outside of it. As we see, we're leaking diesel, but we can live with that. So, it doesn't look too bad from the outside. I mean, the bodywork, I've got the correct wheels. Those are 205 1.6 GTI alloys that my mate chucked on it. But I have the original steels, which will be going back on. Now, we've got some holes in the sills. But, I mean, bodywork-wise, seeing as she's never been tarted or painted, she's looking pretty good this side. Now, I think we did get the boot to open because we had the same key locky problem, but I managed to clamber through and bend the guard over and get that open about 3 or 4 years ago. And I mean, it looks pretty, as you can see, we've got a bit of gout coming on in here. There's a bit of self-lightening going on there. But the main of the problem was caused, obviously I've got the windscreen because you'll never find that again. The radio aerial sits here. And where it had been parked outside, the radio aerial had rotted out, which is right here, and it had been profusely piddling water into the front floors. So we've got a bit of mankiness there. We've got some bulkhead rust, which is easily cured. So I'm going to kick the ramp legs underneath it. Let's go around here. Poor old girl, really, I ought to get to this stuff. Right, put a ramp leg in there. Put a ramp leg. Yep. Because the sills are really good, I know that. But I'll go and lift it up a minute. We'll raise the thing up in the air. And then as an end to the video, you can see what I'm going to attempt to try and fix. Won't be for a while, obviously, because we've got more projects on than anything. So for a minute, we'll just give you a show around, and then this will be coming. It's going to take me a year or so at least to get to it. Right, so we obviously now have Peugeot above our head. Now the main problem we have, if I demonstrate with this, where the water profusely peed in the front, it has slightly evaporated the front floor pans. Like, I mean, I can, yeah. So basically, I've got a just about savable centre gear tunnel, and I've got no front floor pans. I mean, this bit here is quite good, but this bit here isn't. So what I'm going to do, I'll bring you in closer, and I'll show you it. Because, I mean, to be honest, the strange thing is the rest of it is really structurally good, but we'll have a look at that now. Right, so we start here at the front valance, as you can see. So the front valance is rotted off them for a pastime. Front valance is really quite solid. No bad rust, bit of surface, inner wings. Front of the flitches, lovely. Subframe mounts, lovely. Same up in there, all that is good. Whiz down this sill. Obviously we've got the floor here that isn't very good, but if you look up to where the inner and outer sills meet, this is lovely. This back floor is brilliant. There's no rotting around the rear subframe mounts. The back floor is perfect. Proper weird old Peugeot coil mounts. A lot of more bloody spiderage. Rear flitches, I mean, they are absolutely pucker. Inner rear cross member, lovely. That's great. Inner rear quarters, perfect. All spidery stuff. I mean, she is 80% solid until you get. That's good. See, that's the floor behind the seats where the second set would be if it was a car. And then if you start coming here, then you get to this. So that's the inner seat box. That's the front of the driver's seat just there. So you can see these are the structural members that go through. This is about the only second-hand part, not second-hand, only new old stock bit I can find on the internet. But that is absolutely fine. It's this. This is bad. And I mean, if someone can point me in a direction of some floor pans, I'll love you forever, because I've been looking. I mean, you can see it's been plated here before, so that needs to come off. But I cannot find Peugeot 305 floor pans anywhere. I mean, I've been looking for a few years to see if I could find like the donor vehicle. Every time I've looked at a donut, I've looked at two vans that were lovely and not worth chopping up, which doesn't help. And I nearly, a while ago, bought a white one down in Cornwall and scrapped this one. But I mean, there are a few bits here, like there's a bit of hole there. I mean, that's not a problem for a man, we can sort that. But I mean, the seals, they are pucker. I mean, brake lines, suspension stuff, all that we can sort. But this, I'm going to lower it down and I'll give you a peer in from the inside. Right, so we're inside the cab now. You can sort of see what I'm up against. Basically, I mean, the centre tunnel is just about savable. I mean, this box is not too bad. We're into here. Oh, the last tax disc. When was the last tax disc? 06 2001. So that is the driver's floor, and as you can see, that is completely shot. Sorry about the flashing again. I mean, all of the. So what I'm thinking is, a man's going to have to make some floor pans, because I don't think there's a door shut. Close. I don't think there's a way around it. I can't buy any. And I say, if anyone does know, please shout me. And I mean, this door sill, that's easy to make, but obviously I've got a very big hole there. I mean, that gear tunnel is not the best. She is slightly roosty. How many miles have we done? 129,000. Get me screwdriver starter thing back, I suppose. I mean, it's even a posh one with the twin ashtrays, because work van from the 80s, the other ashtrays in the back. But I mean, you can see here, I mean, the seats aren't attached. That's not too bad, but anything further forwards than there, has at it. Right, I suppose we ought to leave that one here, really. I mean, at least we know how it goes. I was never terribly worried about getting it started, to be totally honest, because I have got a Peugeot 19 TZD engine out of like a 306 with a Bosch pump, a big turbocharger, and a 5-speed gearbox, which was my plan. Hence, I never really got around to starting it. But anyway, so, and Peugeot 305 van, and as you can see, quite what I'm up against. So I will go and push this. Well, I don't have to push it. I can use my screwdriver and back it back over there. And I will see you guys Wednesday. Thank you very much. Al, 6D Diesels.